Hello beauties, how are you all doing? My name is Shaz and I love colorful makeup. Today we're going to do another to buy or not to buy video. In these videos I talk about makeup that has released or has been sneak peeked and I tell you my opinion on them. Also at the same time I'm going to do this eye look with Chucky palette from GlamLite. This is a super grungy, gothy type of palette. I love it. Palette's restocking, which is why we're using it. If that sounds good to you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Now let's go into the video. Okay, beauties, as always, I have my coffee. I also have a candle here. This is peony apple, very fresh. And we're back for another to buy or not to buy video. You all have been telling me that some of my last to buy or not to buys were not the latest releases, and that is true because particularly my last video, I videoed when I was out of the country. Then I got back, I was sick for a little bit, and then work got really crazy. So that video is a few weeks old. Apologies for that. Now, I generally feel like if something is a few weeks old, it shouldn't be considered old because palettes that released a few weeks ago are still new palettes, but fair point that I haven't talked about the latest releases yet. So let's do that in this video. I finally received the Chucky palette. As I said, I wanted to order it. I was so excited for ordering it. This palette is so pretty. You know, beauties, I can't decide if this is 100% black or if it has a few dabs of red. We'll see, we'll see. But separate from that, I haven't used this yet. I just received it this past week. I put an order from GlamLite before leaving on St. Patrick's Day. They had a sale. Anything that's green on their website was on sale. I'm gonna start with Painterly. And that's when I picked this palette up, and then at that point in time it was on some sort of back order, so it took a little bit of time for it to get to me. And the reason I'm using it today is because this palette is going to restock soon, and with this palette they are also releasing a bag, like a handbag. If you all are interested in something like that, keep that in mind. Before I get started, I do want to remind you, and I'm trying to put this video up on Mother's Day, so there's a lot of sale going on, a lot of makeup sales. A lot of makeup brands are having a sale for Mother's Day. So if there was a brand you were planning on shopping from, maybe now is your chance to check their website to see if they're having a sale. I know for a fact that Give Me Glow was having a sale, BH Cosmetics was having a sale. If you were planning on picking anything up, just check the website of the brand you were planning on picking something up from and see if they're having a sale. So now might be your chance. Before everything also, beauties, let's quickly show you my nails because I'm so excited about them. They are so cute. They have a little happy face and so on. Beauties, let's get started. The first one I want to talk about, the reveal of which happened this morning, is Adept's latest palette. So this is the Seahorse palette, friends. And when they announced that it's going to have a lot of iridescent multichromes, I was like, I don't know. I don't use iridescent multichromes that much. Like, I habitually am not a person who puts iridescent multichromes on top of darker shades. I should start doing that. Yeah, I should start doing that because I don't do that. I usually just use it for inner corner or highlighting the brow bone or something, which is part of the reason why when I read that it's going to have mostly iridescent multichromes, I thought to myself, oh, maybe it's not the palette for me. Also, that, friends, it's $140. Yes, it is a 15 pan palette, and it's $140. We're like in Natasha Denona territory. Although, you know, they're not going to be single shade mattes, they're going to be multichromes. But after seeing it this morning, I thought to myself, maybe I'll buy it. Maybe I'll buy it. Let me know what you think. Should I buy this? Should I buy this and feature it in this channel? The palette's gonna have 1 nude duochrome and 14 iridescent multichromes. And friends, I can assure you that if I pick this palette up, I'm gonna pick Micka up. I have been eyeing that palette for so long, and I mentally have imagined making eye looks with that palette. I don't even care that it's very old. I don't. I want that palette. I just do. Let's be honest. Who are we kidding? I want that palette. So if I end up picking this up and that palette's available, hopefully it will be, I'm picking it up. And this palette, if I haven't mentioned already, is releasing on Friday, May 26th. So set your alarm if you want to pick it up. Next thing I want to talk about, friends, this is a restock alert for Salem and the Witch. This is from Salem Cosmetics Nola. Beautiful palette. Pre-order actually starts today, which is May 13th. I really like the way this palette looks, but I feel like I recently have done a lot of purchases and a lot of brands are releasing new things that we're going to be talking about. So I don't know if I'm going to pick this up, although this brand is a brand that I've sort of been eyeing, and this kind of color story is very much my kind of color story. So palette's also going to be $58, which is not that cheap. Also, friends, don't forget to use someone's code. With both of the palettes I mentioned, you can use someone's code. Adept and Salem. Let's talk about this one, friends, because I already have featured at least one palette from Micka Beauty Shop. And Micka Beauty Shop, or Micka Beauty Shop, is a brand that I've talked about a few times in these to buy or not to buy videos. Beauties, this is the palette I'm talking about, Serpent palette in collaboration with Marta's Makeup. And this is a beautiful palette. I have a video with it, doing 3 eye look swatches, all that jazz. And I really, really like the quality of this palette. In the same package, I also bought 2 other palettes from Micka that I'm gonna feature in this channel in the future. Stay tuned for those. But now they're coming up with new stuff. Well, the third pre-order of Serpent palette that I just showed you is already up and it is available. But this other palette that's a new release and it is also available at the moment is called Forever Young. You're seeing it on the screen. It's 12 shades, 8 mattes, and 4 shimmers. Friends, I have been very impressed with this brand's quality. Watch my video if you're curious to know details, but I might pick this palette up. I'm also eyeing their Peacock palette because I couldn't pick it up last time because it was not available when I put my other order in. So if I put another order for this Forever Young palette and Peacock is available, I'm probably gonna pick it up. Before I continue, let me jump into this beauty. The ones of you who watch my channel regularly know that I'm not this grungy. I'm just not this goth. But it's a beautiful palette. Let's use Let's Be Friends, which is this beautiful, beautiful, like, it's one of those colors that is like gray with a hint of red, this color. I'm just amazed by these colors in this palette. And I'm putting this color in my crease. Okay, beauties, I already mentioned that there is going to be a restock of this palette, but before I forget, the bag is called a Tiff Bag. Is Chucky's girlfriend wife named Tiffany? I thought maybe that's why it's called a Tiff Bag. And it's a bag, as you can see. And the palette is restocking with it tomorrow, Sunday the 14th, on Mother's Day at 10 a.m. CST. There is going to just be a limited quantity of the handbag available, this palette, the blushes, lip kit, and eyeliner. I think that's the whole Chucky bundle. I think the whole bundle is going to be available tomorrow. It says Chucky Mother's Day bundle is available for $102. Beauties, this next one I have already purchased. Yeah, I saw this one and I was like, I just have to have it. I just have to have it. And this is Citrus Punch palette from Simply Posh. Beauties, I have featured Simply Posh in this channel. I can 100% vouch for Berry Icy and Fairy Tale Fairies beautiful palette, which is why I wanted this one, because it's such a compliment to those. I'm gonna link my Berry Icy video here. The quality of that palette is amazing. Yeah, I loved it. Another thing I love about Simply Posh is just palette concepts is that You can pop out the colors, so you can easily mix and match. If you have a few of their palettes, you can just mix and match and create your own palette, or you know, just take them out and put them in single magnetic palettes. This is a brush, I think this is from Moda. I bought it at TJ Maxx. I'm just testing all kinds of brushes. I'm just gonna blend this out. I love the color of this brush, it's so cute. Let's talk about this one from Bella Beaute Bar. This is Smoky Glam. It has 24 mattes, 4 duochrome shimmers, 1 multichrome shimmer, 5 ultra metallics, 1 shimmer, and 1 matte sparkle. And the palette is $70. And it's available now. I think it came out last week. I want to talk about it because I know this is a very commonly liked color story. But you all know me. These palettes look gigantic to me. I'm just not into palettes this large that have too many color repetitions. I think this palette could have been reduced to, 20-ish colors. It also looks unusually similar to some palettes that I have in my collection. Like, for example, Love Notes from Beauty Bay. I don't think Love Notes is available, but I have a video with it from last year. And it was last year's or 2022's Valentine's Day palette from Beauty Bay. I'll put the video that I have up. Very similar palette and very similar color story. Also, the price definitely doesn't justify. Like, if this palette was like $20, I'd be like, maybe, although I don't have storage space for it. But $70, no. I prefer buying the Seahorse, saving money to buy Seahorse. Let's talk about this one because I know in my last video I talked about all kinds of brands coming out with multichromes, and then I saw this from CXC Beauty, which is a brand we've talked about in the past. And interestingly enough, most of the past palettes we've talked about were just like a palette of, I don't know, 30 colors that were mostly neutrals or not that exciting, not even duochromes. But it seems like now they're expanding their collection into duo and multichrome, so that's kind of exciting. Palette's called Nova Chrome. It's $44. It's supposed to be a combination of duo and multichrome and highly reflective chrome. I don't know if that means that they're going to be like metallic. I'm not that much into the whole split pan situation. It's either that, or I don't know if that's actually a split pan, or it's sort of trying to show the gradation that it's supposed to have in the photo. Like, when you see green and pink in the same pan, it's saying like that it's going to go from green to pink. I would be interested in buying from CXC brand just for curiosity, also to test new things in this channel. But I would like to see some swatches first, high quality swatches where you can actually see what's going on. Beauties, I have to talk about this. Colourpop has restocked pretty much all of their 30 pan palettes. So if there was any of the 30 pan palettes you were waiting for, now might be your chance. I also think they were having a sale. Don't quote me on this, but I think they were having some sort of a percentage off. They also restocked the Aura Struck. Was it the Aura? Was that the name? I think that's the name, Aura Struck. The one that came out sort of late last year. That was dark and light, cool toned colors. That's the one I like. I do feel like it's a little large. At some point I might pick it up in a sale. We'll see. I've heard amazing things about it, and Colourpop has amazing quality. We all know that. So just wanted you all to know, if you've been waiting for one of these, they should be available now on Colourpop website. Now that we're talking about Colourpop, has there been a release I haven't talked about? I think the last release was the Alice in Wonderland collection, that if I talk about, one of you is going to say, this is an old collection, don't talk about it. But I did want to say that I saw the collection in Ulta near my house. It's a nice collection. I do want to mention that. There's nothing in there other than the lip mask that was the shape of a mushroom that was super cute, that I would actually reach out to buy. Because the palette, I probably have all of those colors, even in funkier textures and color stories. But that lip mask I could see myself pick up maybe in a future if I put an order with Colourpop. I do want to test their liquid eyeshadows, the multichrome liquid eyeshadows. I do want to say though that I'm not a huge liquid eyeshadow person, and let me show you all something, because this is something I bought months ago that I was hoping to feature in this channel. These are multichrome liquid eyeliners from Sugar Drizzle. Do you all see that? Yeah, that's the brand. I bought this months ago. I think maybe September, when they came out, September, October of last year. To feature in this channel, I have not had a chance to do that. If you're interested in me using these, let me know. But the reason I'm talking about this is that the chance of me picking up liquid multichrome eyeshadows and actually using them is not very high. Okay, beauties, before we continue, I'm going to go this beautiful one that has a Chucky stamp embossed on it with a heart with a sword in it. And I'm just deepening out the area with it. I did want to talk about this next one, although it was already released last weekend. And I've already picked it up, beauties. This Beauty Into the Night palette from GlamLite. I don't have to even tell you all this. GlamLite is one of my favorite brands. Of course, I would be picking this palette up. I have both Nocturnal and Glamorous palette, and I love those two. And when I receive it, I'm definitely going to feature it in a video, eye look, all of that jazz. But let me quickly tell you a few things about this palette. Again, it was already released last weekend, but it's going to be restocked on the 27th of May at 5 p.m. CST. Yeah, and who knows, maybe by then I've received it and I have done a few eye looks with it and I can give you all my 2 cents. Also with this palette, I picked up a couple of hollows and one of their extreme metallic shades that they recently released just to test it for you all. So stay tuned for those videos. I also have a lot of GlamLite singles that I need to swatch for you all, so stay tuned for that video as well. Revolution Beauty or Makeup Revolution is collabing with Fortnite. If I remember correctly, Fortnite is a computer game. This is going to be all the stuff that's going to be in there. I'm not a Revolution Beauty person, but if you are, it's going to be available on May 19th on their website and on May 27th at Walmart. I'm probably not going to pick anything up from this. I also don't know what Fortnite is. I think that's a computer game, but I don't really know. So, not excited about this. Moving on, let's talk about this one, which is so cute. So Sugar Drizzle, as we all know, named their palettes after animals, and I find that super cute. And this palette is a red panda, and although it's kind of a neutrally red, it's speaking to my heart. I don't know if it's the background, like in my head I'm trying to replace that background with a white color or a very neutral color to be able to really see the palette's color story. But this palette is beautiful. But the only thing is that I don't understand the color difference between the 4 grayish metallics. Yeah, I have to see if I can dig out some swatch of this palette, but it is cute. It kind of reminds me of a lighter version of this one. And you all know Sugar Drizzle is a very nice brand. It's one of my favorite brands. I highly endorse them. I don't have a release date. It says coming soon. With Sugar Drizzle, you can use someone's code. Because the palette is sort of red and neutral, I always feel like this is a been there, done that. But let's be honest, this is not really been there, done that. And I kind of want it. You never know. I might pick it up. Moving on. Beauties. This one. You all tell me. Should I pick up this one? This is Cleona's palette called Deep Sea Treasures. The palette's releasing May 16th, so in 3 days at 2 p.m. CST. And I believe the palette is actually also releasing with a pack of 3 nail lacquers designed for this release. So I think the names and the colors match some of the colors in the palette. The release online just says varying multichromatic finishes. So I don't know how many of them are actually going to be multichromes. But beauties, you all know I love Cleona. I'm not going to promise anything. I might pick this one up. The only issue I have with palettes like this is the same issue I had with their Dragon Fruit palette, which I also have, which was in collaboration with Emily Violet Marie. That's a beautiful palette. But the only issue I had with that palette is that it is an all shimmer palette. So you have to really use it with another palette. Now, some of you all might be so experienced with makeup that you can rock a multi shimmery shadow look. Unfortunately, I'm not that experienced with makeup, so I'm not a type of person who uses multiple shimmers for one look that is only made up of shimmers. So I have to combine it with a palette that has mattes. Another issue I had with that palette, and Cleona, if you're watching this, and I think a lot of people had the same issue, is that the packaging of Dragon Fruit was all plastic. And while it was all neon clear plastic and it was super cute, plastic packaging, beauties, in 2023, come on, we can be more sustainable. And although the palette had a gigantic, beautiful mirror, for a lot of people's palette, the palette actually separated from the mirror. So the body of the palette separated from the mirror. I know this because I saw a lot of influencers online who complained about this. And mine also kind of did the same thing. But it seems like this palette doesn't have that issue, which could mean that Cleona listened and they changed their packaging, which is great. Beauties, before I continue, I'm going to pick a flat brush and I'm going to go back into Play Pals. I'm going to deepen out my lower lash line. Trying to do this as close to my lash line as I can. Okay, friends, let's talk about this one, which I'm also very excited about. This was a sneak peek from Shine by SD. They're releasing something. I don't know what it is. They haven't announced anything beyond that there's something new coming, and I'm excited about it. Another thing I do want to talk about, because I never got a chance to talk about, is their Duality 2 collection. I'm going to put the photo on the page. If Duality 2 comes back, I might pick it up. If you've picked it up, let me know what your thoughts are. Duality 2, I believe, released mid-April, which is about a month ago. Again, in collaboration with Monica and Lisa, or M Jones 5018, and Bizarro Volta, their Instagram handle, and they're super creative makeup artists. I have Duality 1 collection, which they released last year, early last year, and I am totally the type of person who would go pick this up. The name of these two palettes are Dusk and Dawn. The other release last year was As Above and So Below. So I'm on their website, and each Duality bundle, if you want to buy it in the packaging, is $120. Another thing is that there is no option to buy them together and get a little bit of money off. I mean, I don't know why that option wasn't available, because I would totally pick that option. I would want to buy both of them. So Shine by SD, if you're listening, when you release things like this, definitely provide an option. You know, you can give people, I don't know, $10 off if they're buying both. I mean, $120 a palette is pretty pricey as is. I think giving people $10 off or whatever, $5 off is fair. Another thing about Shine by SD is that their Love Spell pop-up palette that was a limited edition for Valentine's Day is available again. This is a beautiful palette they released in a Valentine's Day box, but now you can buy the palette individually for $32.99. Shine by SD is a Canadian brand, so I don't know if the numbers I'm giving you are the Canadian prices or the US prices, so you'd have to figure it out when you go to their website. But I'm super excited about this because Shine by SD is one of my favorite shimmer brands. I have a lot of their shimmers, a lot of their multichromes. I also have a video swatching all of my Shine by SD singles that I will tag for you if you're interested in watching that, if you wanted to make a purchase from the brand and you're not sure what to buy. Ensley Rain Cosmetics is, I think this is a re-release of their Flower Moon palette. Beauties, this packaging is gorgeous. Whoever has done the artwork, I don't know, I feel like I have a thing for mushrooms. I find them super cute. So something like this is just super cute. The only issue I have with a palette like this, again, we've talked about it, is that the bottom row looks like it has a lot of dupes. Like I at least see 3 colors in there that look like different variation of olive, and I really don't think they're going to look different from each other on your eyes. Even in the shimmers, the gold shimmers, I see some dupishness. So I like to understand why these are very different, and maybe that's just a matter of how the photo looks. I don't know exactly for sure, but I think this palette was released a while ago and they've changed some of the colors in the palette. But I did want to say that it is available again right now, this version, and with code you can get some money off of it. I'm not going to purchase this palette, friends. When it comes to Ensley Rain, the palette that I'm continuously interested in is their collab with Brittany Huffman, this one. This palette came out, I think, last winter, and it's such a wintry vibes palette, and it continues to capture my heart. This color story is just beautiful, and I want it. I want it. Please, should I buy it? Anyway, moving on, beauties. Another super, super exciting release is from Terra Moons. There are at least a few new singles releasing from Terra Moons that they have announced separately by posting images of them on their Instagram account. One of them is this one, Mystic Mountain. And this is beautiful, beautiful, kind of flaky-ish goodness. Another one is this one, which is very lavendery, silvery blue multichrome. This one is supposed to release May 27th at 7 p.m. EST. It's supposed to be wet looking, again, beautiful. I also read somewhere, and I was trying to find that they will be releasing a collection for summer, and I can't find that announcement. I don't know where I read that, but I'm sure more is going to come in future videos. Let's talk about this one. Luxie Beauty has released another bundle of 7 duochrome shades. Luxie is pretty known for releasing duochromes, and their duochromes are usually between $2 and $3, and they frequently have a sale. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a Mother's Day sale going on right now. This whole collection you can purchase at $21, which honestly, friends, is a bargain, and it's already available. I think it became available yesterday. I do want to mention, though, that Luxie is a type of brand where I feel like they release more or less the same kind of shades. Meaning, if you keep buying every single sets and bundles that they release, at some point you'll realize you have too many of colors that are very, very similar. That is part of the reason why I at some point stopped buying from them. In 2021, I did a lot of shopping from Luxie, and I bought a lot of the bundles that they had available back then. And a lot of times when I see these new releases, they look like they're old releases to me, which is part of the reason why I wouldn't want to pick new things up. Let's talk about this one, beauties. Petite Choin by Martine Cosmetics. We have talked about Martine plenty before. A lot of their releases were pretty interesting. Honestly, folks, this one really captured my heart. It's a beautiful palette. Like, if I ever wanted to purchase a neutral palette, this would be it. This is my kind of neutral because it's not truly neutral. It has coral, it has red. It's $38.60. I think that's probably translated from euros, which is why it's 60 cents. And it's already available. Beauties, let's talk about this one. This is a kind of a sneak peek that there is going to be a collaboration between Bella Beaute Bar, Ellie Star MUA, and Brittany Huffman. This will be releasing early June. This is all we know about the release, but I'm hoping it's going to be pretty colorful just based on the theme, which looks like rainbows and fields of flowers. Here it says this is going to have 36 fully customizable magnetic shades so you can share with all of your besties and create your color stories and combos. Take out and add whatever you like. So I'm guessing it's going to be similar to Make Your Wishes palette or whatever that had the holochromes from Bella Beaute Bar where you could take the pans out. I'm guessing it's going to be something like that. I'm excited to learn more. Bella Beaute Bar is a brand, y'all, that I am looking forward to purchasing something from this year and trying them. Beauties, now that we're talking, La Cienega palette by Adept Cosmetics is now available for pre-order. Palette's $50. you can get 10% off using someone's code. Actually, I have the palette right here. I know this would be a popular palette because it has a lot of neutral shades. I mean, it's a beautiful palette, I can't deny. The only thing about it is that I'm not a type of person who wears a lot of neutrals. Otherwise, this is totally the type of palette that's probably going to be popular for the average makeup user. I've actually not used this palette yet. I'm probably going to do a video of, a few eye looks and just talking about my perspectives on this palette in this channel. Let me know if you would be interested in that. I know this palette is not considered a new palette because it first released in their mystery box, but I think it recently released as a single palette, right? So if you're interested in seeing a video with eye looks and such, let me know. Okay, friends, before I continue, I'm going to use a little bit of NYX's glitter primer on my eyes. And I'm just putting it here. The color that has completely mesmerized me in this palette is this one, Charles Lee Ray. I'm guessing that name means something. It doesn't mean anything to me. Is that Chucky's name? Charles Chucky? Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful. It's one of those reds that has an undertone of black, which is so beautiful. And I'm just tapping it here. Friends, let's talk about Unearthly Cosmetics. So maybe I didn't get to talk about this because I haven't done one of these videos in a while, but they recently, I know recent isn't like last week, but in the past few weeks they released or re-released their Don't Be Jelly palette. Now, before that, Don't Be Jelly palette was a 9-pan palette that they had in their collection that was a combination of multichromes and duochromes. And I believe it was like $80-something, or it had a pretty hefty price tag. I contemplated purchasing it last summer and it was expensive, so I did not buy it. Now, interestingly, they redid the palette and released it as a 12-pan palette, and they added, in the original version, it was all shimmers, but they added a few mattes to the original version. And beauties, I bought this palette and it is on its way to me, so when I receive it, y'all are gonna see it. And the reason I bought it is because I was like, this is a sign. I did not pick this palette up. I had gone on their website multiple times in the past wanting to pick that palette up when it was 9 pans and then talking myself out of it. And the price had reduced, so I thought I'm buying it and definitely featuring it in this channel, which is what I did. And beauties, at that time when I was on their website, I also saw this one, Complex palette, which is supposed to have 5 multichromes and 1 intense metallic. This palette is $88, but something had possessed me and I was on Unearthly website and I really want to try more of Unearthly this year, so I bought this palette and added it to cart. This palette is actually not on its way to me. The package they have sent to me doesn't have this palette. I don't know if this palette is really manufactured yet. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna get to me when it's available, but I'm so excited. I'm definitely excited because I do want to try some of these multichromes from different brands, and maybe I'll down the road do a video comparing multichromes. Let me know if you would be interested in a video like that. Everything I'm going to talk about from here onward are probably stuff that released last week. Please don't come for me. Please don't come for me. These are still new. Some of these might have just been announced and might have not released yet. Don't come for me, okay? BH Cosmetics is releasing these. And although I already told you that I'm not a liner type of a person and I have let plenty of liquid liners dry up, these are cute. If this is your thing, they're available already. I don't have a price, but BH Cosmetics is pretty decently priced. Also, beauties, they're having a Mother's Day sale on their website. I think it was 30% off, so you might be able to take advantage of that. Let's continue because the list is long. I want to make sure we get to everything. NBA Cosmetics has released these multichromes called Sugar Buzz multichromes. These are going to be either you can buy the whole bundle for $125 or each for $18. They're available and you can use someone's code. Beauties, I know one of these days I'm going to buy something from NBA Cosmetics. now that we're talking about NBA Cosmetics, I also wanted to talk about this one. This is not super new. This is from the past 10-ish days. A lot of brands have 9 pans for iridescent shades, and I feel like one of these days I'm gonna buy one of these. This one is $30. I know Sugar Drizzle, for example, has one. I know Saints, Angels, and Sinner has a few that I have a couple of them. I should start using them. Yeah, but this one is beautiful, friends. You can use someone's code with NBA Cosmetics if I have not already mentioned that. Beauties, let's talk about this one also. Again, not a super new release. This also came out early May. Gloss Gods' new palette. Super summery, super beautiful, very neon-y and colorful. I love it. I don't think I'm in the market at this point for a colorful rainbowy palette. I like to create gradations for my eye looks, so a palette like this I'll probably use in conjunction with other palettes. Gloss Gods is a Swedish brand. To buy from that far away, you have to pay a certain amount of money for delivery, so if I'm buying something, I wouldn't just buy one palette, so I need to think about purchasing. But you can use code with Gloss Gods if you are interested in picking anything up. Because I do want to say that Gloss Gods is a brand that I really like. I have a few of their videos in my channel with other palettes. If you're contemplating purchasing something from them, you can search my channel for videos. I also put the few videos that I have with their other palettes in the description box below in case you're interested. I'm now going to take this flat brush and I'm gonna go into Wanna Play. You all know where I'm going. This is gonna go into my inner corner. Super metallic, love it. And while I'm doing this, friends, let's talk about the next one, which is dual-ended liner sticks from Sugar Drizzle. We already talked about Sugar Drizzle's Red Panda palette, but these are gonna be liners that are multichromes, and they have 2 ends. You're gonna have an iridescent multichrome on one end and a sort of a black base multichrome on the other end. I don't have a release date or a price for these, but these are gonna be coming out soon. This is actually something I could see myself use, particularly for the inner corner. I feel like it's a lot easier to use an iridescent color pencil like this than to use eyeshadows. Maybe it's not a lot easier, but it's definitely not difficult. So I could see myself use this. But as you've seen with the liners that I showed earlier in the video, do I use liners very frequently? Not really. So I could totally be somebody who would pick something up and not use it. That is definitely something that I could be doing. Beauties, let's talk about this one. Notoriously Morbid had a surprise drop. It seems like 2 years ago they had a palette called Path of the Dark Side, and now 2 years later they're released Path of the Light Side. Beautiful palette, friends. This kind of color story is totally me. I love it. This palette is $40 and it's already available. You can use a code for 15% off. Some days ago it was like Star Wars Day, so I think maybe that's why this palette kind of dropped. I'm not a Star Wars person. I think I might have seen one of the movies. I'm just not a fanatic. But I would totally buy this palette just because it's beautiful and I like the color story. But if Star Wars is your type of thing, maybe this is for you. Also, beauties, we all know, I've mentioned many times that I'm gonna buy something from Notoriously Morbid one of these days. Beauties, I have not talked about GlamLite's second collection with Scooby-Doo. I figured I should definitely do that because I'm using GlamLite. This collection dropped April 30th, so a week-ish ago, a week and a half ago. It is still available. If this is something you're interested in, you can pick it up. I picked up the other Scooby-Doo palettes from the last collection on a sale and I have not had a chance to use them, so I'm probably not going to pick anything up yet. I also feel like those palettes and those lipsticks and so on were a lot more up my alley. This is sort of a over the map color story. This is more something that looks like it's more for kids or for a younger audience. GlamLite is a pretty reasonably priced brand, which is why I wanted to make sure I talk about it. Beauties, there's 3 more things I want to talk about. The first one is this release by Colourpop that dropped end of April. Not a whole lot to say. This reminds me of their Y2K collection. Too muted down. I hope to see this 9-pan palette at Ulta or at Target, although I think what they released at Target is only for Target, so maybe not at Target. But I hope to see this palette because this photo looks super washed down. I would never buy that palette. It's going to look ridiculous on me. But if the colors are more vibrant and dark, I could see myself buying something like this because I love all kinds of variations of purple, but only the palette, nothing else. I do have to say about the highlighter palettes of Colourpop, some of these highlighters have a scent that gives me rosacea. I can't use anything that's scented on my face. It's just, yeah. This item is not new, but we talk about a lot of multichromes, and I want to get your opinions on this. Divina Cosmetics recently, as in a couple of weeks ago, released 2 multichromy collection, Mystic Cuff collection and Sea of Shadows collection. And they're both available. One is $56 and the Sea of Shadows, and the other one, which is Mystic Cuff, is $84. They also have released new magnetic palettes. Now, the new magnetic palettes are plastic. I'm probably not going to buy plastic magnetic palettes. I'm just trying to be more environmentally conscious. I am very, very, very close to buying these 2 collections. Would you all be interested in me featuring these collections in my channel? Let me know if you're interested, because if you are, that's going to incentivize me to buy these and feature them for you. But if nobody's interested, then that's a whole other thing. Actually, there's 2 things that I want to talk about, and as I'm doing my eyes, I'm going to really quickly go through them. One of them is this one. These are relatively new palettes by Beaute. They released a couple of weeks ago. They are $20 each, and I think Beaute is having a Mother's Day sale. These are beautiful. I'm not going to pick any of them up because they're too neutral for me. But if you have used them, let me know. I wanted to feature them just because I use a lot of Beaute in this channel. It's a brand that I really like. And the last thing that I want to talk about is this one, which is the latest release by Lethal Cosmetics. This collection is called Wildflower Collection. Now, I'm most interested in the palette and maybe a lipstick. I think they were liquid lipsticks. The palette kind of caught my eyes because it has pretty unique colors. Have you all used this palette? I have heard mixed reviews from Lethal Cosmetics, and I know in my video where I talked about brands that I want to use in 2023, I featured Lethal Cosmetics as one of those brands, which is why I did a double take on this palette. I'm curious to hear your thoughts if you've used Lethal or if you've used this palette, what your thoughts are, just to know, should I pick it up? Should I review it? Okay, beauties, I'm back. I went ahead and put a little bit of this lipstick. It's called Ruh-Roh lipstick. This is also from the from one of the collections, from the Scooby collection. This is the packaging of GlamLite. I used this on my lips. I was hoping for it to be a little lighter. I wanted to do a super nudie lipstick, but it's a little bit more terracotta, sort of a light terracotta. I like the color. It's just, I don't know if it goes with the eye look, with eye look being super bold. Maybe I should have done like a, you know, mauve, dark mauve, grayish type of lipstick. But anyway, maybe for next time. Thank you, beauties, for being here with me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to let me know your thoughts on these palettes, or maybe there are palettes that you're excited about that I forgot to talk about. Write to me below. Thanks again. I love you all. Have a fantastic day, and until next time. Bye.